Look, if you've been learning to code over the past year, you've probably felt a strange chill creeping in. Job boards that once overflowed with junior developer jobs now show something different. A scroll of mid-level and senior positions, with entry-level roles becoming harder to spot than a clear inbox on a Monday morning. This isn't paranoia. Something fundamental is shifting in how companies build software teams. But here's what most people get wrong about this shift. It's not that coding skills have become worthless. It's that the floor has moved, and what used to be enough to get your foot in the door now barely gets you noticed. Today, I want to walk you through what's actually happening beneath the surface, why traditional junior developer jobs are thinning out, and more importantly, what the new entry path actually looks like. This isn't about doom. It's about seeing the map clearly so you can navigate it. If this kind of grounded analysis helps you think about your career differently, consider subscribing. I try to cut through the noise on topics like this. So let's start with the uncomfortable truth. The classic junior developer role, where a company hires someone with basic coding ability and trains them over months or years, is becoming economically harder to justify. Picture a mid-sized software company's open floor plan, fluorescent lights humming overhead. 2 years ago, they might have hired 3 junior developers to handle routine bug fixes, simple feature implementations, and code reviews that senior engineers found tedious. Today, that same company is watching their senior developers use AI coding assistants to handle that exact work in a fraction of the time. The tasks that once served as training wheels, the repetitive, well-defined work, are precisely what AI handles best. This creates a painful paradox. Junior roles existed partly because there was grunt work that needed doing. That grunt work was also how you learned. Now both are disappearing together, like a ladder being pulled up just as you reach for the first rung. But here's where I need to pump the brakes on the doom narrative. Because what's actually happening is more nuanced than junior developer jobs are dead. The reality is closer to evolution than extinction. Think about how a river changes course over decades, carving new channels while some old paths dry up. The water doesn't disappear. It finds new ways through. Companies still need fresh talent. They still need people who can grow into senior roles. What they don't need is someone whose only value proposition is writing basic code slowly while they learn. That math doesn't work anymore when an AI assistant costs a fraction of a salary. So what do they need instead? This is where it gets interesting. The new entry-level developer isn't defined by their ability to write code from scratch. They're defined by their ability to work alongside AI tools effectively, catch their mistakes, translate vague business requirements into clear technical direction, and understand systems at a level that goes beyond syntax. Imagine a greenhouse where seedlings once needed constant manual watering. Now there's an automated irrigation system. The gardener's job isn't gone, but it's shifted from carrying watering cans to understanding soil composition, recognizing when the automation is miscalibrating, and deciding which plants need human attention. This is roughly what's happening to entry-level development work. The rote execution is being automated. The judgment, context, and translation layers are becoming more valuable. Now, here's a flip side worth considering. Some people argue this actually raises the barrier to entry unfairly. If junior roles required training people who didn't know much yet, and now entry-level means you need to already understand systems thinking and AI collaboration, haven't we just made tech less accessible? It's a real tension, and I don't think there's a clean answer. The industry is essentially asking for more from people who have had less time to learn. That's genuinely harder, but pretending the old path still exists helps no one. So let's talk about what actually works now. The new entry path has 3 pillars that I see working for people breaking into junior developer jobs today. First, learn to prompt and verify, not just code. This sounds simple, but it's deceptively deep. Writing a prompt that generates working code is easy. Understanding whether that code is secure, efficient, maintainable, and actually solves the right problem, that requires real knowledge. Picture someone at a cluttered desk, the blue glow of a monitor reflecting off their glasses. They're not typing code line by line. They're reviewing AI-generated output, running tests, asking, what happens if this input is malformed? And, does this handle the edge case from the spec? This verification skill is becoming more valuable than raw typing speed. Second, build in public with context. A portfolio of small projects still matters, but what matters more is showing your reasoning. Document why you made certain choices. Explain the trade-offs you considered. Record a short video walking through your code. The smell of cold coffee beside your keyboard as you talk through your logic. Hiring managers drowning in AI-generated portfolios are desperate for signals of genuine understanding. Showing your thinking is that signal. Third, position yourself as a translation layer. The hardest problem in software isn't usually the code. It's figuring out what to build and why. Companies struggle to connect business people who know what problems exist with technical people who know what solutions are possible. If you can sit in a conference room with afternoon light streaming through the blinds, listen to a non-technical stakeholder describe their frustration, and translate that into a clear technical specification, you have a skill that no AI currently replicates well. This is the new junior role. Not the person who writes the most code, but the person who makes sure the right code gets written. Now, a practical reality check. None of this means you can skip learning fundamentals. You need to understand data structures, algorithms, and system design concepts to verify AI output effectively. You can't catch mistakes in code you don't understand. Think of it like learning to fly. Autopilot handles most of the routine, but pilots still need to understand aerodynamics, weather patterns, and emergency procedures. The automation handles the common cases. The human handles everything else. The moral tension here is worth naming. We're essentially asking aspiring developers to invest significant time learning skills that might themselves become automated in a few years. That's a real risk, and I won't pretend it isn't. This is about potential trends, not financial advice. What I will say is that the people I see succeeding are the ones who treat learning as continuous rather than a one-time investment. They're not asking, what skill will be safe forever? They're asking, what skill compounds my ability to learn the next thing? Public research databases tracking employment trends show that hybrid roles, positions requiring both technical and communication skills, are growing faster than pure coding roles. That pattern has been consistent for several years now, not just since AI coding tools emerged. So here's the takeaway. Junior developer jobs aren't dying. They're transforming into something that requires more judgment, more communication, and more ability to work with AI rather than compete against it. The old path was, learn to code, get hired, learn on the job. The new path is, learn to code, and learn to think systematically, and learn to translate between humans and machines. Then get hired into a role with higher expectations, but also more interesting work. It's harder. It's also, in some ways, more honest about what the job actually requires. I'm curious what you're seeing. If you're trying to break into tech right now, what's the biggest obstacle you're facing? Drop it in the comments. I read them, and they often shape future videos. If this helped you think more clearly about your path, subscribing helps me keep making these. Thanks for watching.